Hi guys. So today I wanted to come to you with the review of a book that I just finished reading today, and I think it's one of it's easily one of the my favorite books that I've ever read. I know it's a very bold statement to say something like that, but this book really, the experience that I had while I was reading this book was really great, which is why I decided to switch on my camera and talk to the camera after a very long time. So I've gotten into reading the Booker long-listed books. So last year, when the International Booker shortlist came out, I managed to read, I think, three of the five books or something like last year, and that's when I realized that I really like reading these books. So I started exploring this even more, and this year, and also one of my favorite reads this so far this year has been Prophet Song, which won the Booker last year. So I will be putting up a review of that as well very soon on this channel. But so that was one of the books that I read, and I really realized that I like a lot of the books that the Booker that gets long listed and shortlisted in the Booker. So this year I decided to kind of follow through with the long list and see like how many of those books I could procure and get through before the winner is announced. Like it's not a competition, it's just something that's there in my mind. Anyway, the point is I did manage to get, I think, six or seven books from the Booker list, and a couple on Audible as well, because those books were very highly priced. The physical books were very highly priced in Amazon India, so I just bought the Audible because I have a membership, and I bought the audiobook instead of the physical copy. But of the books that I got, this is one of the shortest. This was the shortest book in the list, and I thought, okay, I will start reading with this book because it's short, and I was having a very slow paced reading. So I thought that okay, if I buy this, if I start with this, probably I would be able to, get through this sooner, and my I would be able to get over my reading slump. And I think I've gotten over my reading slump, but not because it was a short book, but because of how profound and how deep this book was. So the book that I'm talking about is called Orbital by Samantha Harvey, and without any spoilers, this book is just about six astronauts who who's like in outer space, and they're from different countries. They're from different belief systems, and they're in outer space, and they're like they rotate in their spacecraft above the earth. So this is, I'm literally reading from the jacket of the book. So it says, life on our planet as you've never seen it before. Six astronauts rotate in their spacecraft above the Earth. They are there to collect meteorological data and conduct scientific experiments, but mostly they observe. Together, they watch our silent blue planet, endless shows of spectacular beauty witnessed in a single day. So it really does follow a single day of the astronaut, like from the time that they wake up to the time that they go back to sleep, and the number of times that they see the day and night happening on Earth from the orbit. So it I think it's 16 days that they see, or 16 times that they orbit around the Earth, and during that time they see a lot of sunrises and sunsets and all that. So I as a context to this, I have always been fascinated by outer space. I have always been someone who's wondered about like what is our space in this larger universe? Where do we belong? And why are we here? And there's a lot of these deep questions that I always constantly struggle with. And this book also addresses a lot of these questions. It also discusses a lot of these questions, not necessarily answering it. It doesn't necessarily answer these questions, but it does touch upon these questions. It does talk about, a lot of these facts about the universe, about how we've come into being, about how, there might be life in other planets, or like there might be life somewhere else, and all of that. But it also talks about the unifying experience of us human beings, right? Throughout the time that we have existed, it talks about how, despite all of the boundaries, despite all of the differences that we try to find amongst ourselves, how unifying an experience is to be born as a human. So it's a beautiful book. It's a very philosophical book. it's very heavy because of how philosophical it is. So if you are someone who likes reading about, it's not science fiction. So I'm not going to call it science fiction at all. I refuse to call it science fiction. It is actually very philosophical. And if you are someone who likes to think about these existential questions like, why are we here and how are we impacting, like how is our existence impacting the universe at large, and if these are questions that you've thought about at any point in your life, I think this is a book that you will enjoy. It was really a very freeing experience to read the book, because it doesn't get into a lot of philosophy, like where it doesn't get into a point where it starts preaching. It's not none of that. A lot of it is left as questions itself, because you just don't know the answers to these questions. You just can't find the answers to these questions. But I think what is comforting in that is understanding that this is just how everybody or a lot of people do feel all of this. So even the loneliness that you experience, you're so there's so many people who experience the same loneliness, which kind of makes the loneliness again a unifying experience. I don't know if I'm able to really convey what this book is telling you, because it's I think it is such a personal experience when you read the book, and what you infer out of it, what you take out of the book. There are some facts, there are some interesting trivia and things like that, which also comes in the book, which I really really love. It's a very short book in terms of the number of pages. It's just like 136 pages. It's 136 pages, but amazing experience. I have a few annotations and questions that I've written in the book itself, which was again a very new thing for me, because I've annotated before, but I would usually use sticky notes to write my questions or write my thoughts. But this time I just could not wait, so I just started, like, when I had these questions, I just started writing it in the book itself. And uh, again, it was very freeing in one way, because I was able to, it was almost like I was having a conversation with the author, with what she was saying and what I thought about what she was saying and all of that. So I really really enjoyed reading the book. And if you are someone who, like I said, like reading about, uh, or if you are someone who thinks about these kind of deeply philosophical questions, and if you think about, and if you're fascinated by the outer space and all of that, I think this book is something that you should just pick up and read, because it is really amazing the way, you know, such simple stories are said with such profound effect. So I really loved the book, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. See you next time with another review.